Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the more survivalists, and in this case talking about the baby formula crisis. Stay for this video. It's not what you think. Yes, I'm going to be talking about the problem of people not finding this powder crap that they're feeding their kids for whatever reason. But most of all, why is it that you're doing that in the first place? Why is it that you're feeding a baby some powder from a can instead of breastfeeding a child, which is the most normal thing in the world for literally millions of years? That's how humans have survived through our entire history. It is only now, and it's actually quite recent. Actually, let me show you this. I want you guys to understand how you've been tricked and lied and made into thinking a certain way, thinking that you are free of having your own opinions regarding things. Not so much. When people are offended by someone breastfeeding a child in a park or in a restaurant, that's so offensive. You don't even understand why you're feeling that way. Why it's of course so stupid by why you're feeling like that. Look, let me show you this video where we see a video from the 1930s. This is from the United States, 1930s, and how back in the 1930s it was understood that yes, babies were supposed to breastfeed, right? And they did a bunch of stupid crap like cleaning the nipple with alcohol so as to disinfect it. It was supposed to be modern, I guess. We now understand that makes no sense whatsoever. But baby breastfeeding. And by the way, is this so offensive for you super sensitive snowflakes out there that are offended by babies eating? I don't see the point, But look at how this was considered completely normal in the 1930s. Baby is put to breast for 5 minutes. This is completely wrong, by the way. It's not just 5 minutes. It's whatever the baby wants to eat. When the baby is full or when the baby is tired, he's going to be stopping. And when he starts crying, he wants to breastfeed again. That's basically, but this idea of standardizing, I guess it was normal in the 30s, the idea of standardizing how much a baby eats or not makes no sense. But my point is, it was understood, and then they gave him like 5% glucose solution. That's probably the start of a big company getting involved. And we could make a good business out of this. Instead of breastfeeding a baby, let's make up. And then 1950s. Let me show you this video, which is very interesting, very creepy, but very interesting as well. We have a doctor here, a wise...
As for us, the bath should normally be given about the bath as an example. A daily bath, your baby's health, depends on his getting enough of the right kind of food. Your doctor will prescribe what is right for your baby's needs. Since baby gets his food by sucking, it must be liquid food. That means a formula.
Formula, okay.
The baby's formula contains milk. This supplies protein for bodybuilding and growth. The formula also contains carbohydrate, such as dextromaltose, to supply more nourishment and to make baby's food better balanced. The formula also contains water.
Notice how he's not even mentioning the idea of breastfeeding by 1950s. All of a sudden just disappeared. All of a sudden it's, a baby eats liquid, so that means formula. No, you lunatic, it means breastfeeding the baby like you're supposed to. But this is where the corporations already started to realize, man, we can make a fortune if every damn child, instead of breastfeeding, eats the crap we're selling. And that's how you end up today with this idea that breastfeeding is barbaric, it is tribal, it is not what you're supposed to do. Even the idea of other people breastfeeding their kids is insulting or offending because I see part of a breast, so that offends me. What kind of insane loser is offended by a baby eating? Even with just the head of a child breastfeeding, you don't see anything other than part. What's so offensive about that? Breasts that are that's precisely what a breast is supposed to be. And also this idea of normalizing the idea of, well, let's analyze the pros and cons. I was watching videos. I don't even want to play these because, showing people, doctors, trying to make a point about, well, the pros and cons of breastfeeding and formula. Formula is better for the mother because, if this is stressing you, if breastfeeding is great, but if it stresses you, don't do it anymore. It is so stressing. You're going to be liberated if you give your baby formula, and it's just as good. No, it's not. It's not healthy. Look, you probably don't. I do consulting as well. I have my channel, of course. I have my books, which I always promote here in the channel. Right, books available in the links below: Surviving the Economic Collapse, Street Survival Skills, and Bugging Out and Relocating. I also do consulting, just specifically people, paying you for your time and giving them advice specifically regarding certain things that they want to be better prepared for. It was last year I was doing this for a gentleman out of Florida. And he was expecting he was going to be a father soon. And he asked me about, hey, what about babies? And one of the things I explained to him was, you breastfeed your child, okay? I really hope, this is the moment where I just really hope that when someone pays you so as to give them advice, I really hope they follow through with it. Otherwise, what's the point? I really hope he's looking at this and saying, yeah, that was money well spent, my man, because instead of worrying about buying this canned crap, my kid is properly fed the only way he's supposed to be, which is from the breast of his mom. So I really hope he listened to me and he's, watching all of this and saying, yeah. Anyway, I spent like half an hour because this is the kind of thing that you're not usually much informed about, especially in the United States. This is all information hidden from you. You're lied all the time about, well, this can with this powdery shit is just as good as breast milk. Well, maybe not just as good, but it's pretty much just as good. No, it's not. It's powder. It's something made in a factory. It's shit compared to what the only thing that your baby should be eating is out of the breast of his mom. That's really all it is. And this idea that some women don't have milk, that's like saying that an adult cannot go to the bathroom on his own. Well, it may well be the case if you suffer some horrible accident, you're in a coma, or that you cannot feed for yourself. You cannot feed yourself, you have a tube down your throat, okay, that may be a case. But if you're a healthy adult, you're able to eat on your own. A healthy baby and a healthy mother are perfectly capable of getting this done as well. The baby, believe me, babies latch onto breast like it's the only thing they know how to do. And this idea that it's complicated, it's not complicated. Just leave a kid close enough to a breast, he's going to be sucking on it as if his life depends on it, because it does. And this idea, but it hurts at first. Well, you know what? When mothers didn't want their kids to die, they put up with that a little bit. But in this woke, idiotic world that we live now, anything that is slightly uncomfortable should be addressed by professionals. So soon enough, a professional will show up and, Mom, is this stressing you too much? Is this too much pain for your little nipple? Okay, let's stop this and let's give the kid formula. Of course, it's $1 billion, or actually $1 trillion industry, which it's a massive lobby going on, and all of these doctors are in it. They just know what they're doing. They're not stupid. Anyone that has, any kind of education knows that there's no comparison. The immune system that the mother is transferring to the child, you don't get that from a can of that shit. The powdery stuff that creates different problems of slow bowel movement, and often contaminated with products that you don't even want to look up in a chemist's lab. The idea that he's getting the nutrients, no, he's not. The milk that comes out from the mother from breastfeeding, it's complex. It's not always the same. There's a first kind of milk that is more liquid, more yellowish color. As the baby keeps on feeding, he starts going into some more rich, fatty type of milk. It's harder for him, so he has to suck harder. The baby sweats when he's breastfeeding. He's exercising. He's working on his respiratory system, his digestive system, his mouth. All of this movement that he's making when breastfeeding, it's all part of what making a healthy baby is. When you give your baby this crap.
She points out not all women come in wanting to breastfeed. There are a lot of moms who really don't know the difference still. And the formula companies do an excellent job of marketing.
Baby formula.
Nobody markets breastfeeding because nobody gets paid for marketing breastfeeding.
Trust Enfamil to nourish your baby.
Nonetheless,
if you think that with this crap you're feeding your baby, you're in. I mean, I get it. You've been lied your entire life. Your parents were lied to. You were probably fed this yourself. You don't even know it. You don't even know the consequences of this. You know what happens when you give this to a baby? You get a fat baby. Fat babies are not healthy babies, man. Believe me, I have 3 kids. You have no idea the difference between a baby that was breastfed and a baby that was fed this shit. You have no idea. A baby is not supposed to be fat. Babies are not supposed to be fat. Breastfed babies, you actually see their muscles, which is kind of awesome. But a breastfed baby, he breathes better. He has a fully formed respiratory system because of how much exercise he did. When you give a bottle, there's no exercise involved. There's no force. There's no working for it involved. A baby that was breastfed is much stronger in his entire system. And you may be thinking, well, Fernando, I was giving formula and I turned out fine. Well, look at yourself a little bit more. No, it's not the same thing. Even the way the mouth is formed is different. The way the teeth are going to be formed eventually is also different from a baby that was sucking on a nipple or for a couple of years like it's supposed to be, right? But this is all, of course, you're working against the big pharma lobby. This is all part of the same thing. The same pharmaceutical evil bastards that, we know what they did these last couple of years. They've been doing this since the 60s. Convincing people that this was the new modern thing to do. Giving your kid powdery crap. It was basically, cow milk dehydrated mixed with a bunch of bullshit. The idea that this even comes close to the milk from the mother, with a kind of nutrients, immune system, the defense being transferred from the mother to the child, and the bond. There's no comparison. A plastic bottle, really, compared to the bond of a mother feeding, and the idea of making it like a taboo thing that you have to cover up a baby with a cloth so it's not offending people around you. What kind of insanity is that? A baby should not be covered like a monster when breastfeeding. He should be looking at his mother eye to eye. That's the kind of bond, that's the kind of connection that makes a psychologically healthy baby. And it's completely different. I mean, this is insane that an entire country has been brainwashed into thinking that this is even normal. And you know what? They're doing it in other countries as well because it's good for business. And even in the third world where people usually cannot afford to buy this, so they do the healthy, better thing, which is breastfeeding their kids. If you look at the numbers, the United States is the country that least breastfeeds their kids. It just says a lot. The more of a third world country it is, the more normal it is for mothers to do the cheapest thing they can, which is breastfeed their kids, which, by the way, is by far the healthiest. This idea that, but my wife didn't produce any milk. Look, unless you married a dude, right? Or unless, of course, there's some serious disease going on and, cancer and breast removes and that's. But any healthy woman that has breasts, she's going to be breast. I known a woman that was as flat-chested as a board, and that woman fed 7 kids. I know that for a fact. There's no excuse. It hurts. Of course it hurts. You have a little kid sucking on your nipple, lady. But you know what? Your body gets used to it. It used to be that people were capable of dealing with a little bit of discomfort. Let things work naturally. Eventually, the milk will come out, the baby will do his thing, your body will do your own thing as well. It's not instant. It's not a cell phone you just push a little button in an app and everything goes, works like magic. It's nature. It's your human body. It's, evolution for millions of years. You're denying, when you don't breastfeed your child, you're denying the most essential part of not only being a human, of being a mammal. You're denying the basic part of being a mammal here. I mean, no one, it's born knowing everything. I get it. But choosing to willfully stay ignorant, there's no excuse for that. The information is out there. Get yourself informed and don't fall for this anymore. So if this is an opportunity for you to realize, and as I was explaining to this gentleman when talking with him, you know what? You forget about having to buy any formula. I mean, you don't even spend money on this. You're just using the nature, the best milk provided by nature your kid could possibly have. Make the time for it. Adjust so as to make it work. But it's not an alternative like some of these doctors, some of these very evil, very cynical doctors that know better. They try to tell you, yeah, but it's liberating the mom. Well, if it's too stressful for you, mom, don't do it. You're going to be what? Screwing on your children's development? The idea that a fat kid is a healthy kid, you know what you're doing when this stuff is specifically made so as to make you think that a fat kid is a healthy kid. So when you look at a society that is fat already, you have fat babies, and then you're going to be having a fat child, and then you're going to be having a fat adult. The idea, look how fat and cuddly he is. No, he's not healthy. He's obese. You have obese babies because you're feeding them this crap. Stop doing that. I mean, don't you care about your child enough to feed him the only thing he should be eating? I mean, you might as well not even have one if it's so inconvenient. But the idea that this is a good option, not even a good option, it's an option at all. If you don't even care enough, it's like buying a dog and feeding him the cheapest, worst crap you could possibly find. Maybe you don't even have a dog if you cannot be bothered with looking after him correctly. Now, again, I get it. If you have you had breast cancer, you had something horrible happening, but other than that, really, your body will work as normal. This is like a man or a woman not being able to eat food normally or go to the bathroom normally. Unless there's something very much wrong with you, these are all normal bodily functions. Your breast producing milk for the baby you just birthed, that's completely normal, and that's exactly how it works out. Some babies latch faster than others. Believe me. Give a baby enough time. As soon as he's hungry, he's going to be sucking on that like a lunatic because his life literally depends on that. And your body will produce what needs to be produced to keep the baby alive. There's really no secret ninja trick here. Sure, there's these women in hospitals like the clip that I'm playing now. These are women that consult and help these moms, especially new moms, understand how all of this works. But it is insane, really, that people in the United States have been brainwashed to such an extent in stuff that it's so crucial, so essential for a normal child. Not only the physical well-being of being fed properly, the psychological, the physical contact. No, with that little plastic bottle, you don't have the same bond. Have you ever seen a child breastfeed, how he looks at his mom? My wife, my kids would just grab a little curl of her hair and just play with it and look at her in her eyes directly like that and just feed, and it's a bond that is special. It's not replaced by some transgender lesbian with a bottle. I'm a mom. No, you lunatic. You're not a woman. You're a man. You don't have a breast. You have a freaking plastic bottle, and all of this is so fucking wrong. I don't even believe I'm making this video. I'm living in some alternative world where I'm explaining essential things that people should already know. Hey guys, it's gonna be all for now. Take care. See you in the next video.